Hmm. I've been playing a lot of tabletop games recently. I could probably use a dice tray. Shouldn't be too expensive. Just some wood and maybe a bit of lining, but that should be it. Oh, a little bit more than expected. I got some tools. I could probably make one of these. And I could probably do it for cheaper too. I see this Padauk. There was Padauk at my local store. I'm gonna go pick some up and I'll try and make it. What's the worst that could happen? Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Warehouse 18. Today, I'm going to be trying to make a dice tray. As you saw in my little intro, they're pretty simple things. It's just a box, it's got some lining, you put some dice in it, and you roll them. That's it. And since I'm making it sound so simple, I think I could do it myself. And hopefully I'll be able to do it at a reasonable price range. So my goal is to get it under that $132 price point that we saw before. But enough of that, let me tell you what I've done and what I'm planning to do here. So far, I've cut the Padauk into my desired dimensions, and I'm using my table saw to create finger joints on the end of the wood. To connect them together, I'll brush a little bit of wood glue onto every single finger, and then I'll clamp it all down. For the bottom of the tray, I'm going to be using a sheet of thin plywood. I'm not too worried about how it looks since the top is going to be covered by a piece of leather and no one's going to be looking at the bottom. Believe it or not, my cuts were not perfect when I was making those finger joints, so I'm using some wood glue and some sawdust and I'm mixing those together into like a paste that I can smear over those cracks and crevices. So that way when I sand over it, it's a nice smooth finish. Something that's a little bit different about my dice tray that I don't see on a lot of others is that I'm going to try and have a top cover on the compartment that holds my dice. And that top cover is going to be held down by some neodymium magnets. Here I am painstakingly putting the neodymium magnets into their holes. What I'm doing with that Sharpie is I'm actually marking the top of the neodymium magnet so that way I know which side I have to put down. And in case you were wondering, yes, this is a very easy way to glue your fingers together. Probably one step below just pouring the bottle into your hands. One thing I would have done differently was use some blue painter's tape to cover the leather, so that way when I was using that wood finish, I wouldn't have splashed any on the leather. I also would have used a different type of glue to hold down the leather. I used some standard Gorilla Glue, which dried white, but it also seemed to foam up a little bit, so I wasn't super happy with it. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually taking some leather edge coat, and I'm just going in that crack along the entire inside of the dice tray. So since we're at the end of this video, let's see if I hit my goal. Let me pull up this fancy schmancy calculating software I got right here. And first up, we got the Padauk wood, and that was about $15 a plank, so there's 3 of them I used, and that's going to add up to $45. So far, so good. We're on track. Next up is the neodymium magnets that I used. On Amazon, I got those for about 10 bucks. So far, we are at 55. The mid-wax wood finish cost me another $10. Next up is the leather hide. Now, obviously, I'm not using the whole hide to do this project, but it is still something that I would have to purchase if I wanted to do this out of the blue. And that cost me, oh brother, $200. And of course, how could you do a project without some tools? And that's gonna run me, yeah, we'll skip that one. So far it's not looking too pretty, so I think we're gonna have to cut some corners here. Let's just say I didn't spend any money on any types of glues, and we'll just go with a good old Elmer's glue stick. None of that disappearing crap, just that good old regular Elmer's glue stick. And since we're already way over budget, what better place to cut corners than labor cost? And since the only person doing any labor was me, nobody's getting hurt. Except for my pride. And in the end, our total is $267.08. And that doesn't include the many tools that I used for this project. So this brings us to the end. And what does that mean for us? Yeah, I went over budget. Big deal. I didn't do what I said at the beginning of this video. I lied. I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me. But the real question is, was it cheaper? Or were you just doing it to have a cool centerpiece when you play games with your friends? I know which one it was for me. But that'll just about wrap this one up. Any questions, comments, concerns? I'd love to hear them. Please think about liking and subscribing. And as always, thank you for watching.